knocked away from him. Coming through is Allender. He's playing good football now. Screws the ball back towards the goals. And it's 4 points to Port Melbourne. That's his second goal. And Port Melbourne are playing well at this stage. Port Melbourne 11-13, 79. Coburg 9-7, 61.
Right, just waiting now for the ball to come back into the centre. And Port Melbourne working their way on top. And the result of that is Allender playing much better here in the third quarter.
Well, he's playing far and wide, and he's not being held too closely this time as he was in the first half, Phil. That centre half in the first half, he was trying to compete in the air with the bigger players, but once he starts to move around a bit, he's a far better player.
There we have the Preston Prahran score. Prahran in a lot of trouble, but so are the other two teams who have the chance of getting into the final four. The umpire blowing the whistle here as he's awarded a free kick Coburg's way. Frankston leading Caulfield in their game. Camberwell down on Dandenong's score, 5 points down, so at this stage Dandenong are in the 4. There's a shot for goal, and it's on its way by Halbert, and he's put it through for 4 points to Coburg. Here's Evans going towards goal now after the bounce for Port Melbourne. Put it offline and put it through for 1 point. So let's check our Olympic Tyres scoreboard. Port Melbourne 11-14-80, and we have Coburg on 10-7, a total of 67. And the kick-off being taken again by Douglas, looking for Pitt. Up goes Evans with Pitt. Neither player gets the advantage. A smack in the ear. And the free kick will be taken by Westham. Still niggling down there. Westham now gets the lead from across field. Doesn't know where to go. Look at this. Very undecided. And still undecided as he comes upfield, puts it straight into the hands of Annanson. Well, that was indecision in many ways by this player as it goes up towards that left forward pocket, beats the players over the line and out of bounds deep on the forward zone for Port Melbourne at the Williamstown Road end of the ground. Port Melbourne 11-14-80, Coburg 10-7, 67. Coburg will be coming home with a wet sail, and that is with the wind in the final quarter. There it comes out wide, comes back towards the player Halsall. Halsall gets it up towards the wing, where Beattie went in for it. He couldn't take the mark, and this allows Port Melbourne to get it into attack through Johnson once again. Johnson towards centre half forward. Was that O'Reilly in the middle of the pack? Grant O'Reilly, one of the surest marks in VFA football, but the umpire's given it to Allender. Well, O'Reilly came down with the ball, but it must have come out of the hands of Allender because he's the player to come back with it. O'Reilly thought it was his too as it goes on its way, and he's put it through for another goal. And Allender's kicked 3 in this quarter. So that takes Port Melbourne on to 12-14-86 and Coburg 10-7, 67. I said it to Ted, I'll say it to you, Bill, that Allender, they need him firing Port Melbourne, and boy, when he fires, he really gets the score on the ball.
Well, he's one of the most promising young footballers in Victoria. I stress Victoria, not only the VFA, keenly sought by others, and when he fires, as you said, Port light up, as it were, and that the advent of Dermott back onto the ground after Coburg had kicked 3 goals, coupled with Allender getting in the game, has made the world of difference.
Well, it certainly has, and I think Allender's a confidence player too, Bill. If he gets on top, he usually stays on top.
Right, at 12-14 to 10-7, Port leading on the Olympic Tyres scoreboard. Burt gets it out of the centre quickly, down towards Cleary. Cleary not doing all that much. Fisher was a chance there, number 25, but the free kick is going to go to Port Melbourne. It'll be taken by Christo, who's lifted considerably since a quarter time. Christo down towards the centre of the ground, and Port will take it away through Evans. Evans to Abaya was good handball. Abaya trapped. So too was the Coburg player. Holding the ball was the call. It will be now. Hardigan was caught. The first one might have been, but the second one was positive. And that's the second time that the smallest man on the ground, Abaya, has retarded a much stronger opponent. So now Abaya will kick from centre half forward. He's kicked a couple of goals. He's a good kick. It is not beyond him with the slight wind assistance. And there it goes on its way with them pushing and shoving, and he's kicked a goal. I think he has. Great goal that from Abaya. And takes the score along to 13-14 Port Melbourne, 92. Now they've opened up the lead on Coburg, 10-7, 67. And if Coburg have got quality, they'll lift now. We know they've got it. But this is the ground to do it. At Port Melbourne. And Port are coming home strongly. They have 1 win against Coburg to their credit this year, and they're heading for another at the moment. There's a long way to go, but Allender got it out of the ruck. In turn, it was O'Reilly to centre half forward. Pitt will relieve for Coburg. Pitt getting it out over there to Tolley on the centre wing. kicking to the half-forward line. Bryce a chance from behind. He smacks away. Down to Westcombe. In there was Crisco. Up to the centre wing position. Oh, look at that. Tolley on the ground, wrestling for position there. Abaya knocks away. Allenson puts in, several others too, and the umpire's blown the whistle and holding the ball. There's a call against Port Melbourne to go to Nimmo. Nimmo, a good player all day for Coburg, has got it up towards his team's centre-half forward spot. Coming down on the ground is Fisher running into goal, but he's put it on its way, and I think he's put it through for another goal.
7:73. Now there's the kick going down to the scoring area for Port Melbourne, and grabbing it as Abaya. He'll do something with the ball. Decides to handball to Anderson, the big man, back to Abaya. Abaya now lining up the goals. Shoots it in towards Freddie Cook, and a beautiful one-handed mark to Cook. What a great mark, Phil.
Yes, a great mark by Fred Cook. And that could be one of the big marks of the day. Fred Cook lining them up to kick towards the Williamstown Road end of the ground. Kids coming from everywhere as Cook comes in for his 100th goal. He's hooked it. And he's put it through for the minor score of 1 point again. That's the third occasion he's missed today, and look at the look of despair on the face of Fred Cook.
Well, if anyone can accuse Freddie Cook of wanting to kick the goals on television, there's no doubt about it. He's certainly caused some anxiety today. He couldn't have done it better if he tried.
Well, Fred Cook.
I bet he feels like Fred Flintstone at the moment.
He looks like him. Well, what a disappointment. Some of the girls there say, what's happened to Freddie?
What about Port? They want to wrap it up.
Well, Ted, what would be the situation there? Would it be nerves? It'd have to be nerves, wouldn't it?
No doubt it's nerves coming onto his 500 in the VFA football. It'd have to be nerves, right? No, nothing else.
Okay, let's check the score. Port Melbourne 13-15-93. Coburg 11-7-73. And Port Melbourne have certainly improved their lot since Allender came right into the game. There's the fullback now playing on. He kicks the ball out to the grandstand side, and taking the mark is Saltmarsh on the half-back flank position. Kicking into a very stiff breeze. I did make the point before that players were making a lot of mistakes. Well, if you stand in the centre of the ground, as I did at half-time, you'll notice that it's a very gusty wind out there, which can help players to make these mistakes. Right, there's the ball now, picked up by Burt. Burt decides to kick out to his teammate going past, but it eludes him. Coming through is Evans. Evans can't get it. It's back to Helsel. Players going in very hard, and the umpire's found a kick, and it'll be taken by Helsel. The little bloke for Coburg. Yarraville 11-9-75. Brunswick 15-12, 102. Brunswick leading well there in the big game. 15-metre penalty has been paid by umpire Roy Groom. And Westcombe now is certainly within scoring distance for Coburg, and they need a goal badly at the stage. He's kicked 1 goal, 1 so far. There's the kick by Westcombe. It won't get the distance. The player's going up high. Smith knocks it down, gives the opportunity for Helbert. He screws the ball back. Helsel it is, and it's 1 point. 1 point to Helsel and Coburg. They badly needed a goal on that occasion. Port Melbourne 13-15-93. Coburg 11-8-74. Phil Gibbs.
Right, Rob, and Rob will be giving us a report from the ground at three-quarter time. We're keeping him busy today as we have the kickoff coming this time from O'Neill. O'Neill towards the half-back line. The big fellow Anderson went up, fails to take the mark. Comes out to Westcombe. Westcombe now screws it around towards centre forward. Hall went up, couldn't take it. Here's the chance for Halbert to pick it up. He shoots for goal, and it's online. Another goal to Coburg. They're fighting back. Come in for the bounce, up they go. Beattie taps it back over his head, but Little Goss comes in. He taps it back into the hands of his opposition rover in Burt. Comes back towards the half-back line for Gary Bryce to try and get it. Couldn't get in there. It's nearly a ball up, but Dermott burrows his way through. Dermott up towards centre half forward. Allender flew high in the air, but coming through here is Hartigan in defence. Hartigan across towards Tully. Tully now defending well for Coburg. Plays it to the wing on the outer side of the ground, on the stand side of the ground. David Fisher gains possession. He goes for the hand pass, and here's Helsel moving into it. Helsel lines them up, puts it on its way, and in they go. It's a free kick. The umpire's paid the free and not the mark. And it's Dermott, who since he's come back on the ground has been playing quite serviceably. He goes for the short pass this time, drops it to centre half back, and Peter Hall takes the mark. Now Hall of Port Melbourne goes for another short pass into the centre, and that's Evans who's come up. Evans has played a good game too in the last half quarter. There it goes on its way towards centre forward. Up they fly, punched away from Cook. In the race for the ball is Christo, but will beat him over the line and out of bounds. Coming up to the 28.5-minute mark. And they're coming on the ground for Port Melbourne is Kevin Curran. So the two Currans are on as it comes back into play. Annanson knocks it down into the middle of the pack. It's Hartigan getting it away. Gets it across towards Tolley. Tolley now from the back pocket out towards the half-back line on the stand side of the ground. Players racing after it. Johnson couldn't quite get there. Moving in is Halsall. There they crowd around the ball, but picking it up is Curran. And Curran now will steady. Play it across towards that centre half-forward zone where we found the player Nimmo failing to gain possession. O'Reilly sends it up to Cook. Cook goes up and he's taken a great mark. Well, let's see what happens this time. That was a good mark by Cook. He's kicked 2-5. He's had trouble. 3 direct shots for goal and he's missed to kick his 100th. And now he has the chance to come in on an acute angle to shoot for his 100th goal. Fred Cook puts it on its way. What's the umpire say? 1 point again. So there's the frustration, Bill Jacobs, of trying to get 100.
Well, it certainly is. No batsman ever struggled harder than Cookie is for his goals today, that's for sure. And the man just about to kick the ball back into play has played exceptionally well, Douglas. Port 13-16 to 12-8 on your Olympic Tyres scoreboard as we're 4.5 minutes into the time-on period. There's Ebeyer. Ebeyer kicking towards centre-half forward. They mass there. Slapped to the ground. A chance here for Port. This time through Johnston, but he is offline also. And Port are building up the behinds now. They have gone on to 13-17. That's 30 scoring shots to 20 of Coburg, which have yielded 12-8. Colin Kinnear into screen, looking perturbed. A game of fluctuating fortunes with Port probably should have had it wrapped up by now, coming up to three-quarter time. That is wrapped up to the interval, as it were. And Allenson out there, Annanson to take the mark. Annanson on the half-forward flank. The big fellow's played pretty well. He's beaten or had the better of Milroy today, I would suggest. Annanson kick towards centre-half forward. Cook looking for the free kick. Play on as the call as it comes out to Herbert. And Coburg go upfield from the boot of Herbert to centre-half forward. And there's another fullback doing a great job in O'Neill on Smith. He's limited him to 1 goal. And O'Neill kicks up through the centre of the ground.
Right, and it goes up towards Allender, who fails to take the mark. But there it comes to Davies. Davies towards centre-half forward. And it's Grant O'Reilly to take the mark for Port Melbourne. Well, the score difference at this stage, 15 points only in Port Melbourne's favour on the Olympic Tyres scoreboard. Cook making a very early lead here, ignored by O'Reilly. Thinking more of the team. O'Reilly was bending down, lacing up the boots then. And O'Reilly to line them up from short of centre-half forward. It's his first shot for goal. Give them a 21-point lead if he can get it. It's going offline, and it'll be 1 point the result only to take Port Melbourne on to 13-18 as against Coburg's 12 goals, 8. 96 to 80, 16 points the difference. And in this quarter, Port Melbourne have kicked 7 goals, 6, and Coburg 6 goals, 3. We'll show you the progressive scores quarter by quarter at three-quarter time as it comes out towards Saltmarsh, but taking the mark is O'Reilly. A one-hander to pull it back into the other. Well, he'll go for the long shot, I'd imagine, rather than a direct shot for Cook. Cook going back into the goal square, not making the lead. Has decided that Riley's close enough to take the kick for goal, and he's put it on its way, guided it well, and he's put it through for another goal to Port Melbourne. They go to 14 goals, 18, and Coburg 12 goals, 8. Well, I don't know, Ted. Port Melbourne seem to have the wood on Coburg. It's all adding up to a great second semi-final.
Well, they appear to have the wood on them, no doubt about it. Well, they did at Coburg, and they appear to just be getting right on top now, and particularly since Don't went off the field, who was handling the ball quite a lot for Coburg, and one is probably as good a player as they had on the ground. Now, they've lost him. Coburg, I thought, did pick up a bit, but Port have come right back again now. Well, just thank goodness for Coburg, so that Port are kicking bad.
22 points the lead, and taken out of the centre by Hall. Hall up towards centre-half forward. Saltmarsh backs his judgment and succeeds. Play on was a good call, and Saltmarsh boots it up towards Smith, leading up, and Smith has got in front of O'Neill for once and taken the mark. O'Neill in some pain there as Johnson. Smith has kicked 1-1, and he's chosen to kick to Burt, and I rather fancy he was looking towards Milroy when he first kicked, but Burt is a player that Coburg badly want to get into the game a lot more. he was going to kick it across field there. Burt has got to be direct, if for no other factor than the time factor. He's dropped it in short, and Halbert's dropped in to take the mark.
Bad play, Port Melbourne.
Yeah, the defence was in tatters then. Now the difference is 22 points. Halbert's kicked 4, and a goal here would be invaluable to Coburg if Halbert can kick it, and he has. It's a goal to Coburg and to Halbert, and the margin is reduced to 16 points. And Port have done everything they possibly could this quarter, and there's Kinnear pondering on the last quarter. Port Melbourne 14-18-102, Coburg 13-8-86 on the Olympic Tyres score.
Very long quarter two, Bill. We've been going 34 minutes into this quarter, so it'll be a late finish in the match from here. The interesting part is how's Paran going against Preston. We'll give you a report on that soon. And Dandenong against Camberwell, and Sandringham against the Geelong West side, because any one of those sides can get into the 4. There it goes up towards the forward zone of Port Melbourne. No one able to break away with the ball. It's kicked back upfield, and this is Fisher coming into it. Fisher now towards the half-forward line. Tapped down by Halsell. Halsell gets it up towards the pocket. He's getting a bit of a shove from Bryce as he came close to the boundary line, and it will be thrown back into play at the 35-minute mark into this, the third quarter. So it'll be a late finish in the match tonight. And here it comes back in once again. And it comes off the hands of the pack down towards Christo. Christo streaking downfield, shoots it in towards the centre. Who can take the mark here? A Coburg mark, and the player coming in from behind was Saltmarsh. He hand passes immediately, and coming upfield is Nimmo. Nimmo now with his kick towards the half-forward line. Davies rushes into the ball, taps it away from his opponent in pit, then gets the kick in with siren about to sound any tick of the clock. It goes towards O'Reilly and Evans, but beats them over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in. 35.5-minute quarter so far, a long one. Don't forget our big Deafness Fund appeal next Saturday on Channel 10, when we have overseas stars coming in, and we'll be crossing by satellite direct to Tommy Trinder in London. There's a Bayer gaining possession, and a Bayer now dribbles it across the ground. Players coming up to meet the ball, and there'll be no, the umpire hasn't given a free kick to Tolley, who has grabbed we're not in possession. They're over the top of it, and it will be a ball up. Yes, the sports panel will be on right through Saturday morning, and of course we have the big star attractions right throughout the day and the night. And the Nerve Deafness Fund appeal on Channel 10, which will assist Professor Graham's Wright's research into nerve deafness. There goes the kick now from Halbert in towards the centre of the ground, and there was the chance then for Herbert to break away, but the siren has sounded for the end of the third quarter, and let's check the scores. Port Melbourne 14-18, 102, leading Coburg 13-8, a total of 86. Bill Jacobs, how did you see the game?
Well, from the time